An official DanDaDan English translation just got beta announced. Now this will bring in a whole bunch of new fans to the young series. With its intro arc now finished spanning around 8 chapters, I thought, you know what, it'll be fun to do a quick run through of the story, give it a quick summary, and introduce more people to this insane world and series. Let's get some background information out of the way real quick though. Tatsuya Nobu is the author and illustrator It was bound to happen. Author and illustrator of DanDaDan, and it's a manga that has previously published around 2 series of monthly shounen magazine and one-shot in Jump Plus. He is most known though for his work as an assistant on Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man. He was an assistant on Chainsaw Man. 2 series that were by Fujimoto Tatsuki. Tatsuki also recommended DanDaDan on Jump Plus, helping boost its popularity early and getting a strong fandom by chapter 3. Now with a basic introduction out of the way, let's dive right into this insane world of DanDaDan with the penis retrieval arc. I can't say that with a straight face. Thank you, Buck867, for that amazing arc name. And if you're not cool with that arc name, or not cool with the genitalia aspect of the human body, story may not be for you. The story starts off with the main girl, Ayase Momo, who just got dumped by her first boyfriend in high school, but she did kind of have it coming because she was only with him because he was with her celebrity crush, Takakura Ken. We'll get back to that later though, as during her sulking session, she stops these bullies from picking on this one quiet kid in one class. The 2 of them end up talking in the hallway afterwards, and we learn that that nerd is into and believes in aliens and conspiracy theories and stuff, you know, like people do. And Momo believes in ghosts and spirits, so they're both weird. The 2 of them obviously don't believe each other. A little bet ends up being made. Whereas we go to a haunted highway tunnel, literally off of a main road in no city. A moment will go to an abandoned hospital full of medical equipment commonly associated with aliens to see who's right and who's wrong. Surprise, surprise, they were both right, and the occult nerd makes first contact. He runs into the Turbo Granny. The Granny then offers him the chance to suck her boobs if she can suck his dick. Not even making that up. The nerd does the obviously same thing of running as fast as he can in the opposite direction because Grandma can't keep up with him. Oh wait, Granny ran track in the nursery home and can run up to 100 kilometers per hour. That's 62 miles per hour. They don't call her turbo for nothing. That's as fast as a slow car on the highway. What the? Cutting to Momo real quick. She makes contact with the Sepro, an alien race that looks like Discord moderators and do what Discord moderators do, and immediately chase her down the hallway and strip her half naked. Not only that, she is then taken to their UFO and is interrogated about her banana. The Sepro then take out their metal bananas and proceed attempted infiltration for scientific research? But thankfully, due to the moment's phone ringing, it get cut short. One of the Sepro then goes to turn off the phone and pops out a possessed 4 eyes all ring style out of the smartphone. That's cool. With her new physical form, Turbo Granny is now jumping and running around the room like a coked out Spider-Man, screaming, "Let me suck your d," and biting off the metal penises of the Sepro. I couldn't make this up if I tried. Granny down bad hard. The Sepro then enter into their true form and use their telekinetic abilities to just throw the Turbo Granny into a wall and keep her there. However, this use of their telekinetic abilities awakens Momo's chakra, and now she has psychic powers, and I guess uses them to just like kick the Sepro and then they die? Afterwards, the Turbo Granny and Momo have this weird psychic ghostly conversation in which the Turbo Granny then admits that she took the nerd's penis, bless his heart, and that he will be cursed with the Turbo Granny spirit until they go back to the tunnel he made contact with her and fight her, beat her in combat, and get his penis back. Hence the title of the arc, the Penis Retrieval Arc. Momo and Four Eyes then figure out that Momo can control the Turbo Granny's power as long as she keeps her eyes on the poor nerd. Oh, and she also decides to, finally learn this kid's name. And we find out that it's, get this, Takakura Ken. Whoa, that's Momo's celebrity crush's name I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Yeah, and she almost immediately nicknames him Okarun as a replacement. But I'm just gonna call him Ken for the rest of the video. That concludes chapter 1 of DanDaDan. Just chapter 1. We have 7 more. I'm gonna get to these faster, I promise. The two of them then go to Momo's house, and we find out that the reason she believes in ghosts and spirits is because her grandma's a medium. This also leads to Ken almost immediately dying via spontaneous combustion the moment he stepped foot onto the property. That was just caused by a little sticker on a fence post. They move past that though, and then we learn that Ken is the trope that, really pessimistic, it's a downer, and just overall depressed. Oh, and another alien is here with like 4 giant black concrete walls, I guess, and just enclosed on them, trapping them in the property with said giant alien. Okay! It doesn't look like the Stepbro, but don't worry, it still has that fascination with human genitalia. In this fight, Ken comes up with a little plan to only let out a little bit of the Turbo Granny's power, only enough to the point where he can control the power and use it. Momo agrees to this, and it works. Ken is now really powerful and badass, but he's also like 2 times more depressed, and he can only actually use a big chunk of power 2 times, so maybe you should have read the fine print. But Momo is smart and has a plan to defeat the alien that only involves her getting the kicked out of her until she gets indented into a wall in which she can place that, that little sticker that almost killed Ken earlier. Yeah, she puts that on the fence post outside, killing the alien side, which is really badass. But it also involves her getting the kicked out of her, so I guess? Momo then promptly passes out due to getting the kicked out of her, and then out comes everyone's favorite horny young man, Turbo Granny, because she took her eyes off Ken. But before we get back to that, we need to cut to a Japanese TV excerpt in which a medium is making psychic predictions about a Japanese idol. I wonder who's the only other character who we know is a medium and is connected to our main characters in some way. I don't know, maybe I'm just spitballing here. Anyway, we cut back to Turbo Granny. Do I need to say this? Like, can we just assume at this point? Turbo Granny then gets stopped though, thankfully, due to a second grandma. And why is this grandma hot? Grandmas aren't supposed to be hot. Why? Why? Momo's grandma shows up for some reason looking like 27 to 30, and then puts a stop to Turbo Granny's horny BS. Momo then wakes up a couple hours later and then immediately panics, worrying about Turbo Granny being out since she took her eyes off Ken. She asks her grandma and she says he's in the guest house. The two of them meet up and then the hot grandma gives a little lesson. She states that the Turbo Granny has been fused with the bound spirit of No City. The bound spirit is basically a big boy spirit and they kind of have like gang turfs almost. She then states that the two of them need to train up their stamina. The two of them need to train up their stamina in order to beat her in a race, in order to separate her from the bound spirit, making Granny easier to defeat. And by Granny, I mean the old ugly hag, not the hot one. Ken then has to use a bathroom, obviously. Then the old hag version of the Tasmanian Devil comes out, obviously, because Momo has to take her eyes off him, because she's not watching him pee out of his butt. I don't know. The Turbo Granny then basically says, hey, come to the tunnel tonight. Like, right now. And if you don't, I'll kill this poor boy that I took the penis from. With this, Momo and Ken get dripped out of their minds and then head off towards the No City tunnel. At the tunnel, Granny kept her word and then gave Ken his penis back and removed the curse. However, in payment for this, 2 gigantic decapitated versions of her head are slowly crawling or rolling their way to them, blocking their chances of escape and threatening to eat them. This seems like a really bad situation, but Momo, being big brain, challenges Granny to a race. And since Granny has a short temper, she agrees to this race. Granny then counts to 10 minutes for Momo and Ken individually, except she can't count. I don't know what school she went to, but they didn't teach her basic mathematics properly. After she finishes counting to 10 in big quotation marks, Momo ends up getting caught by this weird arm-mutilated limb cocoon before she is able to leave the tunnel. This leaves Ken to stay behind to worry as Granny counts to 10 again to catch him. Ken then takes the opportunity to fulfill the promise he made in chapter 1 and suck her boob. But like Granny, he doesn't know the definition of suck and then bites her boobs. Granny, in defense, then turns back into her ghost form and possesses him again, this time with full control with Momo out of the picture. Except Momo has this thing called protagonist character development and actually contains the Granny's spirit through the cocoon. This leads to her escaping and Ken being able to control the spirit just like they did before. This also turns Granny into this little pocket spirit. However, Granny ain't done yet and she got connections, so she calls upon the bound spirit to finish the job for her. The bound spirit for some reason is this giant crab with faces on the back, proceeds to horrifyingly chase Momo and Ken down the highway. Ken then goes turbo and then jumps off the side of a mountain, and then I guess he just helicopters his way down. Then he uses the Turbo Granny's power and runs through the city trying to lose the crab, but crabs are fast. Like, angle the crab sideways and they are zooming. Momo then comes up with a plan, like Momo does, and then leads the crab to the onsen, and they basically just boil the giant crab alive to slow him down as they run over to the next town in order to defeat Turbo Granny. But Turbo Granny's connections don't just end there. She then calls upon an army of basically zombies, made from average civilians being possessed by the dead from a nearby graveyard, and then guess what? The crab gets out of the onsen, so that's there too. To get out of this messed up situation, Ken goes turbo for a second time and full sends it through the crowd of zombies. They end up near the city's borders, but due to this sudden speed shift, this leads to him and Momo throwing up and Granny getting out of her pocket form. Then she fuses with a giant crab, so that's some nightmare fuel for you. And as a motif of the series, Momo has a plan by hitching a ride on the Takasaki line that travels at 120 kilometers per hour, as opposed to Graham's measly 100 kilometers per hour. But due to the laws of physics, the train has to, slow down, acceleration towards the center of the circle, to turn or whatever. And then Granny catches up with them. But by this point, they are now out of the city. And guess who's waiting for them? It's Momo's grandma, the hot one. Her. She placed the stickers that make Ken blow up on their property and the one Momo used to kill the alien to just burn the Turbo Granny into a nice fine ash. With Ken now having his penis back, Momo, Ken, and the badass grandma have crab for dinner. Why? A new friendship is born between Momo and Ken, and that's the end of the penis retrieval arc. In all honesty though, DanDaDan has one of the most promising starts to a manga series I have seen, and to keep it getting cancelled from Shonen Jump, we need to support it. So when the official translations are out, whenever that is, September, October, whatever, go and read it. Even though I just summarized the entire first arc, I missed and glossed over a lot of material, like the world building, the relationships between characters, and a lot of character development. By the time the translations come out, we will be neck deep into a new arc anyway, so I think it's worth it. Thanks for watching, I guess. I don't know how to end this.